In this place where big money now rules and in which fakery is now the order of the day and numbers no longer have to be real, there is one point that stands out, and that is that the fakery on the floor is belied by the language of the bill.
Great citizens of the states, you're welcome to the channel. This is The Prodigy Unfiltered. If you are just joining us for the first time, hit the subscribe button. It's time to pull back the curtain on the left's latest fearmongering stunt on the Senate floor. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island just delivered one of the most dramatic, misleading speeches I've seen in a while, and that's saying something coming from D.C.
If these assertions were true, they would not need to raise the debt limit. All of this fun and games, all of this parliamentary mischief that is happening right now crashes into the fact that in real markets, in the real world, outside of this fakery, the debt limit is actually a real thing. And I will take a moment to read from page 754 of this midnight monstrosity what it actually says, where it collides with the real world. Subtitle C, Increase in Debt Limit. Section 72001, Modification of Limitation on the Public Debt. Line 20. The limitation under Section 3101B of Title 31 United States Code, as most recently increased by Section 401B of Public Law 118.5, 31 U.S.C. 3101 Note, is increased by $5 trillion. $5 trillion. That's the real number here. That's where the rubber hits the road in real life. The maneuver that is being pulled right now to avoid that fact, the fact that the debt limit has to be increased by $5 trillion so that Republicans can give immense tax breaks to billionaires, has not been used for this before. I used it once. In the year 2000, a deal had been struck on how to score activities of the Power Marketing Administration. Does anybody really know about the Power Marketing Administration? It's a small thing. Over the years, the Congressional Budget Office started scoring the program differently than the Senate had agreed to in 2000. So in 2023 and 2024, Senate Budget Chair, me, and the House Budget Chair, Jody Arrington, on a bipartisan basis, invoked this section to have CBO return to the original Senate agreement and not the variation that they had created. This is what Section 312 has been used for, to resolve technical ambiguity, to advance a bipartisan appropriation deal, not to create Senate floor fakery belied by the $5 trillion debt limit hike that Republicans are obliged to pass to make good on this huge billionaire blowout that we're forcing through the Senate floor now. I yield the floor.
First off, he opens his rant by saying big money rules and fakery is now the order of the day. Really? Coming from a Democrat? The same party that's been bankrolled by Silicon Valley, Wall Street, and globalist elites for decades now. You want to talk about fakery, Senator Whitehouse? Let's talk about Hunter Biden's laptop being called Russian disinformation just before the election. Let's talk about government collusion with big tech to censor dissent. That's your fakery. So Whitehouse decides to read a section from page 754 of what he calls a midnight monstrosity. You can't make this stuff up, folks. He dramatically unveils that the debt ceiling is going up by $5 trillion. And he acts like this is breaking news. Now listen, we conservatives don't like the debt either. But here's the truth. The debt isn't exploding because we gave tax breaks to billionaires. It's exploding because Democrats refuse to cut a dime of spending. They want open borders, unlimited entitlements, Green New Deal fantasies, and global aid giveaways. But God forbid we let hardworking Americans keep more of their paychecks. Let me make this clear. The Republican tax cuts Whitehouse is crying about aren't handouts to the rich. They were tax relief for small business owners, middle-class families, and the job creators who keep this economy afloat. You want to know who benefited from the Trump tax cuts? Plumbers, electricians, contractors, ranchers, people who sweat for a living, not DC lawyers with Ivy League degrees. What Whitehouse is doing here is classic Democrat playbook. Demonize wealth. Ignore government waste. Blame conservatives for trying to fix the mess. He's pretending like this $5 trillion debt increase is some secret Republican ploy, when in reality, it's the natural result of decades of spending with no accountability, and his party is neck-deep in it. He rants about misusing Senate rules and says this maneuver is fakery on the floor. Brother, your entire speech is political theater. You've got people struggling to fill their gas tanks, groceries are through the roof, and you're lecturing us about obscure budget provisions from 2000. Give me a break. Look, viewers, we know what time it is. We know this isn't about procedure or page numbers, it's about control. The left is terrified that America is waking up. They see everyday patriots pushing back against government overreach, rejecting socialist agendas, and demanding fiscal sanity. That's why they're panicking. This isn't about billionaires. It's about punishing success and controlling the economy from Washington, D.C. It's about making you dependent and taking away your freedom, one bloated spending bill at a time. So, what can we do? Speak up at town halls. Call your representatives and demand real spending reform. Vote out these career politicians who think fear-mongering about tax cuts is more important than actually balancing a budget. Because I'll tell you something, patriots, freedom is worth fighting for. And the next generation is counting on us to stop this madness. Don't fall for the theatrics. Don't fall for the lies. This country doesn't belong to bureaucrats like Senator Whitehouse. It belongs to we the people. And we're not going anywhere. United States, this is Prodigy Unfiltered. Off, like, share, subscribe, and stay in the fight. God bless America. United States.